Hello, everybody. This is Evan, founder and CEO of Gentatech, and we are back again with another high-level overview. Today, we're going to be looking at the difference between a home network and a business network, specifically through the perspective of what you need to purchase in order to have one versus the other. So this is not going to be a video based on recommended configurations or the needs for security or any of that other stuff under the sun that is uber important, but we're not doing that right now. What we're doing right now is looking at the monetary commitment to having a home network versus a business network. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, regardless of where you are, you're going to have an ISP, and that's going to be at the beginning of all of this. All right. So this is going to be our ISP here. And this is not because I support them, but we're going to put Comcast here. Okay. And just because everybody knows Comcast, so you can kind of get a hold of this. And this is going to be our home network here, all right? So in addition to that, we're going to need some type of router, which is provided by Comcast, usually for rent for maybe $5 to $10 a month. We're going to have some Ethernet running from our router to our ISP, and we're going to have some devices. So let's say we have something like a TV. Oh, yeah. Let's do a computer. Let's do a cell phone. And then let's just do something like a printer. Awesome. That sounds fantastic. Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and run some Ethernet from this to the computer. Nice little desktop here. We'll run some Ethernet as well from the router to the printer. And most likely, especially today, we're going to keep these two things right here connected wirelessly. All right. So then this router will provide a wireless signal that we can connect to via Wi-Fi, our TV, and our phone. All right. And that's going to be what a home network looks like. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. And you can find this in your average house across America. It doesn't really matter where you're at. This is the most likely setup. Now, of course, you can have more devices. You can have less. There's smart home devices these days, and people are getting a little bit more extensive with their home configuration just because there's more technical options. But this is the basis of it. So when you build a business network, it could not be more different. And again, we're talking about the monetary commitment to getting all of this hardware to build a business network. So what does that look like? Well, first and foremost, nothing's going to change from this point. We're still going to need an ISP. We're still going to reluctantly use Comcast in this example, just because everybody knows who Comcast is. All right, now that's pretty much where the similarities stop. Things are going to change very quickly here. So first and foremost, we're going to need a modem. Let's get that bad boy there. We'll connect this. From that modem, we're then going to need some routing capabilities. So we're going to go ahead and grab a router. Fantastic. In front of that router, we're going to put a firewall. All of my IT guys are squirming right now, trying to punch the screen so they can argue about where the best place to put a firewall is. And there's fantastic conversations to have, but again, this is for business owners who are just trying to get an idea of what money they're going to need to spend. Not the best way to configure. And with that said, configuration is going to really depend on compliance and policy, and that's going to change per business. So it is kind of disingenuous for me to recommend one single configuration that's going to apply to everything. And I think disingenuous is the wrong word. It's just wrong to do because there's so many different options. And in front of that firewall here, we're going to have a switch. Fantastic. And attached to the switch here, another required piece of hardware we're going to have is an access point. All right. And this access point here is what's going to be able to provide us wireless capabilities. And we'll just connect it just so it's easier to kind of get an understanding of. Well, we'll throw it right there. That'll work. All right, now this is what you're committing to. You need this. You need everything here. So you're going to need a modem. You're going to need a router. You're going to need a firewall. You're going to need a switch. And you're going to need an access point. That's 5 components that you're going to need bare minimum. Absolute bare minimum. And then from here, what it would look like when you set things up, just so you can kind of get an idea here, let's go ahead and pop a few workstations. That's a good looking workstation. And then we'll do like so. pop some workstations here. Those will go into your switch. All right. And then now we also have, let's do a printer. Let's do a nice one that has some nice wireless capabilities. And that can be connected here. And then whatever else you need. All of your employees' phones, laptops, when they come in, they can connect via Wi-Fi and be connected to the same network. So this is what it would look like at a very, very basic level. But again, what we're trying to get across here is the monetary commitment and the difference between the two. So you're going to need the modem, the router, the firewall, the switch, and the wireless access point. Now the question becomes why? Why would you need all of these different things when you can just get, no, not when you can just get, but when at home things seem so simple. And the reason is flexibility. That's the easiest way to explain it. This setup here at home is just not going to have the functionality needed to do things like subnetting or creating VLANs or doing any of the other really foundational key aspects to creating and securing a business network. And these are really non-negotiable, non-optional things that non-negotiable things that absolutely cannot be passed upon. So with that said, the only time that they could get a little bit different here is these days, some of these things can be combined. For example, some firewalls will have routing capabilities, right? Some businesses are small enough to where they cannot need a switch. And that's pretty rare. That's pretty rare, but it is possible. Meaning they don't have the number of devices that are necessary for a switch, but a switch will provide the functionality to do VLANs and things like that. So these are based on function, not necessarily size, which is a really, really important thing I'm trying to get across here. And then your modem is going to be the thing that converts your signal sent from your ISP to an internet signal that can be handled and read by the rest of your devices. And then, of course, your wireless access point is going to provide you Wi-Fi, and your firewall is going to provide you that very basic level of security. Now, this right here in this example is a physical firewall. There are hardware firewalls, some in routers. You have some software firewalls and routers. You have some software firewall capabilities even at the level of your workstation. If you're running a Linux server, you'll have some capabilities there. But skipping out on the hardware is not going to be negotiable because, again, if we have functionalities and capabilities for firewall software within the workstation itself, we're still going to have to replicate those settings across every device that we, pop onto the network. And then the bad actors, the bad packets are already in the network itself. So that's not good. You want to stop those before they kind of reach all of your devices. So yeah, that's what you'll be looking like. Pretty big difference, right? Especially from, you pay a flat fee here and then you pay $5 or $10 a month to rent this out versus having to buy all of these devices. And these devices are pretty expensive. Usually you're not going to find anything along this line that's not going to be within the hundreds of dollars. You may be able to get a single access point, a nice little UniFi access point for $99, a UniFi Lite, but you're probably going to need more than one. So that is going to be what it looks like. Again, this has been a high-level overview of the difference between a home network and a business network. I appreciate you guys watching. This is Evan, founder and CEO of Gentetech. If you have any questions, concerns, interested in working with us, please email us at info@gentetech.com. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate you watching.